Europe's weather pattern for August 2026. Welcome along, guys. My name is Julien. I'm a climate change master student at Copenhagen University. I'm also a weather communicator. And in this one, we're gonna see if August brings us a new heat wave. So where we're gonna see those temperatures running above average and where rainfall is gonna set to be. So please share this video and like it if you do. And please make sure to keep up with my updates on Instagram. So without further ado, let's see what's happening now and what's expected to happen in the coming weeks. So here we can see the warm air mass across the Sahara Desert and the Arabian Peninsula extending up to Central Asia. This is, by the way, the air temperature at 1,500 meters. It is exceptional for seeing uh, those different air mass characteristics. And while we have this configuration here, and now I'm gonna just draw over it, we have the also big uh, cooler air mass here across the North Sea, the North Atlantic, so having an influence across the Northern Europe countries. So why is that important? Why this appears as something relevant? Well, because that's exactly the setup we're gonna see throughout the month of August. That's at least according to the latest model runs. So with this heat expanding here from Iberia into France, Germany, Switzerland, Poland, Austria, Italy, the Balkans, and even as far as Romania, Belarus, Ukraine, while colder conditions at times prevail here in Norway and the British Islands. Let's see how temperatures are supposed to be in the coming months. So here we have above and below average temperatures for time of year, corresponding always here to the month we are seeing. So from the 1st of August up to the 31st. Well, starting off with this warm air that might be the trend across continental Europe, especially here as we see sections of France, Italy, Spain, Germany, the Benelux countries, even parts of southern UK, but also here Hungary, Slovakia, Austria, the Balkans, and also sections of Romania, Belarus, Ukraine, all of those with temperatures on about 2 to 5 degrees above average. Special highlight here for Hungary and Slovakia. It appears that we're gonna have a core of warm air according to model runs. This area should be the most impacted throughout the month of August. Of course, this can change with time. And on the other hand, we have slightly cooler conditions expected across Scotland, so northern UK. Also, temperatures ranging more on average for sections of Ireland. And we also have this colder than average trend for Norway, especially coastal areas. We're gonna check why this is gonna happen, but uh, basically it's due to rainfall. So we're gonna see a strong correlation between below average rainfall here soon and the above average rainfall for a time of year in those areas. Um, so now I want to show you what is the trend week by week. So here, that's the week we're now, so late July, early August. And we can see already the clear signal of this new heat wave. So Spain, Portugal, southern France, here also the Alps, so Switzerland, Austria, Czech Republic, Italy, the Balkans. We see this cold blob here across Turkey, colder conditions this week across the Black Sea region, colder conditions also here where we have some troughs, some low pressure systems lingering, so bringing those showers and below average temperatures. Denmark in the edge of those warm and cold conditions. Might see some warm days later this week. Same for the UK and the edge. Southern areas more prone to the heat. So that's the air temperature anomaly at the layer we've spoken about. So at 1,500 meters. So that's the dominating air mass that's gonna hold for the coming week. When we go further in time, let's see how that goes as we start the month. So apparently, the heat locks in as of early August. The trend is that high pressure here. By the way, that's the air temperature. That's not higher pressure, but we're gonna have this high pressure with this extending here into the Mediterranean and near Central Europe. And in the meantime, we're still gonna see some of those low pressure systems and troughs coming from the Atlantic, lingering here in the North Sea at times, sometimes going through northern Scandinavia, so a north shifted jet stream at this point. So yeah, expect average conditions could be expected across the UK. Possibly southern areas will be impacted by the heat. Scandinavia under average temperatures, and in the meantime, look how the heat dome is really intense here across sections of Spain, southern France, Switzerland, Austria, and especially here the score is really above average, 6 degrees above average. So definitely a lot to talk about this area soon. The Balkans are gonna suffer a lot apparently the coming days. Temperatures really above average. So let's see how that evolves as we head to the middle of the month. Here we have an overview for the 10th up to the 17th of August. Still seeing those warm trends here across sections of Southern Europe, also Central Europe. So again, with a warm core here across the Balkans and southeast Europe, excuse me. So Greece, Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Croatia, Slovenia, all of these guys here getting a lot of above average temperatures. The signal is less robust than the week we've seen before. That's because, of course, it's a bit far on time, so you never know. You can always have a front that comes by and breaks the heat dome, but again, it comes back quickly, and that's what we've seen, right, in the the past weeks. So hit developing a little break, and then it evolves again. Here in Scandinavia, again, looks like it's gonna be really unsettled and therefore below average temperatures resisting here, persisting across Sweden and especially Norway. In the meantime, I see a warmer trend for mid-August for the British Isles here and still warm in those sections. So the pattern is really locked in, as you can see. Now for late August, of course, still a bit far. Things can change, but it appears that here in Northern Europe sections we're gonna have temperatures running on average, meaning that some low pressure systems can and could deliver cooler air here. But again, it also depends on the short term. Sometimes you can have a warmer plume of air coming through here, but it appears, as far as I'm concerned and can interpret, that the core of the heat is going to shift a bit to the southwest, meaning that southwest Europe, the Balkans, Romania, all these countries here, they're gonna be under a warm core of air, while we still have also a warm core of air over Spain and Portugal. Something above average, but not as strong across France, Germany, Benelux, Ireland, and UK also slightly above average. So it looks that we're gonna have this trend of still persistent heat as we go to the end of the month. Let's go to the final week, and now again, as further we go in time, more uncertain it is, but that's the trend still. This core of warm air persisting across south and central and southern sections. I see a cooler trend coming here across these areas, so still colder than average. It appears the whole month is going to be unsettled and colder here across Sweden, Norway, parts of the northern tip of the UK. But look how, uh, on average, um, conditions are gonna extend towards Germany, Denmark, Poland. So as far as I can interpret that, it is plausible that we could have a break from heat conditions later in the month, possible a cooler air mass, especially because we are heading through late summer. September is already meteorological autumn. Sorry guys, had a almost a crash here. So that's the trend overall in terms of temperature. Let's see now what we are expecting in terms of precipitation for the month. So yeah, follows the same pattern as temperature. So drier conditions are expected across France, Benelux countries, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, northern Italy. The Alps really seeing a deficit on rainfall. Really bad news for glaciers up there. Also, water reservoirs, really not good setup. Also for France, we've seen those wildfires really increasing lately in past weeks. Also Spain here, we don't see actually a below average trend here for Portugal and Spain. They don't tend to have a lot of rainfall at this time of year, so that might be a reason. But at the same time, you never know, some of those cold blobs, some of these systems that linger here as they don't make their way through Central Europe. Sometimes you can get some scattered showers. And here we have, yes, below average temperature, rainfall, excuse me, for those sections, but it doesn't mean we're not gonna have none rainfall, We're gonna have some showers, especially with warm conditions, those really intense showers. So some spots can actually see those severe thunderstorms bringing really high amounts of precipitation. But the thing is, we never know where at this time of year because those are thunderstorm systems. They don't have models can catch the resolution of this precipitation. So in the broad sense, that's what we're gonna have, drier conditions. But again, look here, same areas affected with the worst of the heat getting the least precipitations. So we see a coupled effect of dry conditions with the heat that we're expecting. Same areas, so the Balkans, and especially here Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania. Um, Guys, is sorry if I don't mention your countries, just because it's also too many people to mention, but you can find yourself here on the map. Balkans as well, running below average. Italy, Sicily, interestingly appearing in this run of the model with above average. Rainfall? Well, it doesn't rain much there, but it means that a major system, some troughs, could at times have an impact here in the Mediterranean. As I said, we are also running close to late summer, early autumn, so the later we go throughout the year, we're gonna have more and more fronts coming and pulling in from the north, and finally having an interaction with this warm Mediterranean basin, really above average temperatures across the basin here. Let's just sum up this part of the precipitation. So East Europe, Eastern Europe running also below average. Russia appears to be running above average in terms of rainfall. And look how consistent with below average temperatures is this above average area of rainfall. So Norway coastline appears to be really the one impacted by, as I've said, those possible troughs and low pressure systems that are gonna make their way through northern sections of the continent. So here it is clear for me that trend. So as you can see on my silly drawing, high pressure having an effect here across Central Europe, at times shifted more to the east, and we get well, Scandinavia, southern Scandinavia at the edge of this wet, dry pattern. It appears that Denmark also is gonna be below average. Norway. So although we have cooler conditions in those sections here, as we've seen in the previous charts, doesn't mean it's gonna be always because of rain. Sometimes we just have systems, but they're not strong enough to bring precipitation. So sometimes some showers come by with some thunderstorms. Um, and yeah, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland getting also above average precipitation. So really clear trend of storms coming to northern sections and drier conditions here. Well, let's sum up because it's been quite a while I was speaking with you. Like, yeah, just showing here some, excuse me, just showing here some conditions in terms of drought. So just to close our discussion, it is quite concerning, the situation, because here, let's see moisture anomalies. So it's running below average by the time I'm speaking with you, late July, and that's a soil moisture, by the way. If I run for the 6th of August, we see that these dry areas, they expand almost all Europe now under these dry areas, below average moisture in the ground. Here now expanding to the east, Belarus, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece. Those folks really below average. France doesn't looking good for them. So yeah, drought intensity also not really a good scenario for those in continental Europe. Uh, Only Norway, Sweden, and northern Scotland and the Baltic states in Finland here free from those more intense drought conditions. Doesn't mean that we won't have drought. You look the UK also super below average moisture for the ground for time of year, uh, and some drought signatures here in Norway and Sweden. So it is looking dry, it is looking warm for the month of August, guys. Not really comfortable for many. So yeah, guys, it appears that that's our scenario. Again, if you like this content, please make sure to subscribe. It motivates me to do more of them. Tell me where you're from. Feel free to reach me and follow me on my Instagram. It's at climate.julian. And I'll see you in the next one for an outlook elsewhere. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.